It is from chapter 15, The Means for Conquest of the Mind. As anything seen as part from Brahman will only produce sorrow-inducing fear. The contemplation that all that is seen is only the seer, that is Brahman, and then proceeding to cast off even that thought of all being Brahman, and then being lost in the silent meditation in the void, will confer unsurpassed bliss and rid oneself of fear. Because of this certitude, turn your attention to abidance in meditation.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Nilakantanji, do you want to say something?
Tadadishati yukta sevanam ashtamurti brid deva pujanam Durambamsi anilo ambaram ahar ato gimam japuman Ityabhati chara chara makamitam yasyaiva mutyashtakam nanyat kinchana vidyate vimrshatam yasmat parasmat vibhoho tasmai shri gurumurtaye namagidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. The first two lines are, you might remember, you might have heard the first two lines from what? Bhagavan's Upadeshasaram. Yes, sir. Very nice shlokam. Jagadadishati Yukta Sevan. In the universe, you are looking at only 8 things. And if you look at only those 8 things, you are doing puja to the Lord of the self. What are those 8 things is not told here, but it comes in Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya's Dakshinamurti Stotram. It says 5 elements, moon and the sun, plus the individual soul. These are all the 8 things you see everywhere in this universe. So if these can be indicative of the self to you, there's nothing like that. You see these 8 things everywhere. Space you see, air you see everywhere. So can you imagine like that water, fire, earth, and you see beings everywhere. So that should be indicative of the self always to you. So that itself is puja. That's what you're doing, self puja. By just looking at them, that thought triggers back to the self. So one Swamiji, long back ago, possibly 86 or 87, I don't remember. He used to say, Neela, are you taking spiritual advantage of every situation? Spiritual advantage of every situation. So are we taking spiritual advantage of every situation? We have to ask ourselves.
Anyone wants to say anything? Read anything?
Because this thought
has anyone seen rice when it's in the
paddy
field? It is covered with that brown covering.
Husk.
In Hindi we say dhan.
Yeah.
And how do you separate it? They beat it. and after after beating, that dhan, that yellow covering goes away, and then it is edible. Otherwise you can't eat dhan or husk, the covering, when with covering. So we all are that pure Brahman, that white rice, or people who are diet conscious, brown rice, but that covering is our mana, our mind, which is hiding it. This mental sheath is hiding that white rice, which we all are. We are all pure Brahman, we are all Shiva, but that covering is hiding. So how do you get rid of that covering of mind? By beating the knowledge of self.
That, yes.
You have to thrash it, and you say that this is a dream. This dream stays till that mind stays, and the mind stays till our interest in external appearances as separate from the self, from the Shiva, stays. The moment you start questioning it, and the moment you start receding from it, this covering starts disappearing. For some it is like a flash of a second, like Bhagavan, so that's what the one which I sent about self-realization, that Bhagavan's was instantaneous.
Yeah.
But for others, it's a karma mukti. It goes slowly. In most of us, it goes slow. It's a slow cooking. It goes slow. But the whole thing, which is such a small thing, which is easy to understand intellectually, but so difficult to grasp experientially and to get rid of, is mana, mind. It's not that it is difficult. The problem is because we are doing this satsang, we understand, we go deeper, and everything is clear. But as soon as we move out of the satsang, we again get entrapped in whatever is going around us. And we get so entrapped that we start suffering, or we start into that doer mode, that everything just haunts us or get us involved. This is samsara, this is illusion, this maya is so strong that though we understand, but as soon as our attention from here is diverted by mind into things around us, we lose that touch from awareness, and we sell ourselves to mind for all the petty things what the mind asks us to do, or tells us that these are the important things. So how can you keep your focus on this pure awareness? How do you keep awareness on this purity in us, rather than again going in following the mind? How is it possible? It is possible by paying attention to the awareness. It is possible by praying to the Lord, to the Absolute, to the Brahman, to God, to Shiva, whatever you call it, to teach you, to get you there, to help you, and you can't do it. So that prayer, that devotion, that helps a lot. That actually is the main thing which helps. Viveka, what we say, discrimination, that what is truth, what is reality, and what is not, can only come by staying still. And staying still comes by grace, and grace comes by prayer. When we pray to the Lord that please help me, He shows us the way. Because there is no way to be that is we are all.
Yes.
The way is only to unfold and not to get again dragged into this. The alcoholics, when they get up in morning, after they have fallen on the road, they have bruises, they will promise that now they will never drink alcohol, and they will be pure and all. And then evening comes, those old friends come and they take him, or he remembers about them and he get lost, and again next day again. This is what happens with us. We get lost in the mind, and the mind's friends are this whole sansara, whole world, all the relationships, attachments, desires, animate, inanimate, and then we get lost. And then comes next morning of satsang, and we say, okay, We will abide in pure awareness. And we are actually quite honest about it. But when we get lost, we also don't know. This illusion is so pragat, so dense, it is all around us. Everything is part of it. So the thing which we have been given to interact in this world is part of it. This body, mind, it comes from this sansar, this word, and we have no clue what we are. We think we are this body, mind, because that's what we are using these gadgets all the time. We have never been taught how to detach, how to stay with body mind, but not as body mind. And nobody talks about that. No channel on television tells us that, look, you might get lost, so please be aware and then watch this news or watch this serial or watch this movie. Nobody tells in the school, nobody tells at work. And actually, I am also surprised why nobody tells us. While if you see, number of enlightened beings must be in thousands in all these years. And they all have said the same thing, whichever religion or non-religion basis they have come out. But nobody is there to take those teachings to the classrooms in a mainstream fashion. I don't know why.
In 1950s, there was a book called The Taboo by Alan Watt. It's a great Buddhist monk as well as interested in Advaita. And he writes that there is a taboo, socialistic taboo. The society taboos us from asking fundamental questions like, who am I? From where this world comes from. So there is a society puts this taboo. That's what he says. So possibly because of that, this taboo goes on to our education system and that stops there. And so we are not thinking about that.
I think if I get a chance, I don't know whether it will happen or not, but let's say if someone asks me to open a school, this will be a class every day. One subject, for maybe even 10 minutes, but it should be there, that please don't look. You start seeing a movie, and the movie, they give this clarification at the start that this is only fiction. Don't believe on anything in this movie, isn't it? They do this disclaimer in almost all movies. This is fiction. Don't believe on any character in this movie. And nowadays they also add no animal has been harmed in this movie. They don't talk about human beings, but nowadays they say no animal is being harmed in this movie. So same thing we can do. Same thing someone can do. Like, let's say you start the morning, say, look, it's all fiction. Today's day is a fiction day. You have been assigned a job of this and this. You will be doing this.
Actually, this is there in Who Am I? He says both your dream state and the waking state are same. Only the duration is different. He has put it very nicely. Actually, Bhagavan has put it very nicely.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Bhagavan has put everything nicely, but I'm talking about day to day. In everyone's day, when you go to work, you go to school, uni, someone should put a disclaimer before we start the day that this all is fiction. This job is a fiction. And I'm warning you, nothing exists. So this disclaimer should come first for everyone. In morning before meeting, we should say, like in Australia, we always respect elders and aboriginals, past and present. We can say this also, and this all is a fiction. It is like a dream time of our indigenous people. It's a dream time. So let's do like that. And because it's not happening, we have to remind. So it becomes our sole responsibility of reminding ourselves all the time. Nobody helps us in reminding this. I think Amit wants to say something.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I had read that when it came to letting others know of this, that Bhagavan often has said that only if somebody else is ready to accept, should you go talk. And it's very much, the first thing is for you, as opposed to going around in a missionary fashion. So when it comes to school, it's children don't know if they're not they don't know if they want to know, as it were, in a sense of are they ready to accept that message is only when the mind is ready to accept that message. So,
but Amit, I would say what you're saying is right, that we should only, it's not about missionary. What I'm saying is that when the mind would be ready, as you grow old, mind will never be ready. Mind will be more revolting. Mind is more conditioned. Children are the best people. If you tell children, they are the best. That is the time to tell something right.
Yeah, actually, one Swamiji conducts in Chennai a class, and he introduces initially this, and he found that children are the most receptive of all. So some experiments have been done already, and he found that only children, and when you ask them to sit, one little kid, when he was closing his eyes, and he asked him to explain what is your experience, and he just blurted out saying that I feel I am the most peaceful human being in the world. So he felt that peace. Immediately he was feeling the peace. So can you believe children come out with such one-liners? So that means once you introduce, they have not been introduced, and we are assuming certain things. So once you introduce kids also, they also are beings, so they can feel the peace immediately. So say like it depends on the situation. Whether in all schools it's going to happen, we don't know. And these are all only theoretical. First, we have to establish ourselves. Then let us think about it.
Yeah, definitely. But I completely agree. Kids are like a sponge, and they are not that much conditioned. And for them it is. Yes, and actually, when I'm saying about the kids, actually, I'm talking about ourselves. If we would have been told long time back when we were kids, it would not be that difficult at coming at this age and then finding it so hard. And receptiveness is also, again, let's say you tell in a class of 50 people, the message will go to the person whom it is meant to be, who is ready for it. And that's okay. It's not a waste of message, because a lot of nonsense message keeps going to everyone, and people take those stupid messages. So it doesn't matter. If a good message goes and gets wasted in a form that out of 1,000 people who listen, only one gets it, that's okay. That's more than enough. So it's not about any missionary zeal. It's more about telling the truth all the time. Like we tell so much of fake stuff, propaganda about wrong things. Why can't we tell something right, which probably all the religions of the world in interfaith can accept and say, look, we can use this type of disclaimer. No particular God's name, but let's say we can do this. I think Suzanne wants to say something, but you have to switch yourself on. You're muted, Suzanne.
I wanted to ask, so a child asks you, because I did have an example, maybe when my granddaughter came down Christmas, and she was just turning 6 round about that time. And she said, where is God? Or, I can't remember the question. It was something like, where is God? Who is God? And so I just said, well, God is everywhere. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, God is everywhere. He's in you. He's in everything. And she was like satisfied with that answer. So my question is, and she did go and tell, I heard later on, months later, that she told all the children that God was everywhere, her Nana told her, and he's looking after you. So,
beautiful.
So I don't know if she still believes all that now, but the thing is, my question is, yes, I agree, because at my age, like, you have so much in your mind that you're trying all the time to quieten the mind. So what would you say if you did teach children in the schools? What would you say, or a 6-year-old, or what can you say that they might take up? That's my question.
Yeah, look at you can never say what you would tell. It depends on their age and their you can just say the simple thing that we all are like one family. It's not just your family matters. Everything is part of God's family. All the people, birds, plants, animals, everything. As we take care of our own family, our own things, we should take care of everything around us with that same respect and love. We are just one family. I think just a simple message like this is very profound, Like you are saying, God is everywhere. That's correct. Yes, God is everywhere. God is in everything. And same is like we are all one together. So there'll be there's no competition. If someone wins, we are winning. Someone is losing, we are losing. So there's no competition, no jealousy, no greed. This is what I think the message should be to kids, so they don't compete unnecessarily. Like it can be a healthy competition, but for fun. Like you can play with your son or daughter or grandkids, and you're not competing. Similar to that type of mindset. Then there'll be less aggression in society. I believe there'll be more love, more giving, more acceptance.
Yes, and I think that that is happening in this time. That's starting to happen a bit more, or I hear stories that is starting.
Yes, definitely.
I don't know that.
From where we are,
they're talking about God, but
Suzanne,
they're caring for each other.
I agree with you, because where we are in society, we can only go up. So it's all good, I think. But on the other hand, what Amit said, I agree, because I come across a lot of parents who are only interested teaching spirituality to their kids. And they feel proud of it, and they don't themselves correct themselves. Like first you have to be there, to help others. They think, oh, I'll make my kids into it, Why not you? Have you sorted out yourself? So it all starts with you first, and then you can help others, And this is not that difficult. The only thing is, because our attention, our focus, our interest is not in that. Let's say people look after connections and VIPs, and this will help me in that. Why can't we just put all our energy into that absolute, that he will take us, he will take care of us, rather than all the things, objects. Why we are after money or power or name? Because we think those things will help us in our bad times or when we need them. But that absolute power which is running the show, why can't we just invest in that and just stay there? And then let other things unfold, or rather than investing in people and things for our petty desires. The whole focus changes once you start bringing attention to the God within. There's no necessity to call God, or maybe awareness. You start noticing that your self-interest or self-importance, that smaller self, changes. You are no more into, I should use the word, trying to use people. I don't know what is a good way to say that thing. Like trying to find how to squeeze things out of people, like for your own benefit in a way. So that actually changes. The moment you stay in awareness, then nothing is important. I think Andy wants to say something.
G'day. This is sort of relates to what you were talking about at the beginning, sort of getting distracted by mind and following the mind and things. I had a bit of an experience yesterday. I find it particularly hard with technology, especially mobile phone, internet, things like that. I was out for a run, and I use this app. It's called Strava, and you post your you run on there, and your friends and family can see it and stuff like that. And I take photos. I usually put photos up on there, and I noticed I I stopped and took a photo, and then I wasn't very happy with it, so I stopped a bit further up the run, and I took another photo, and I posted it up on my account. And then I noticed just myself, I just became I became sort of overly concerned with how I appear to other people. And I find that very hard with technology, is that I'm always, if I get too invested in my phone or the internet and things like that, I find I go into this part of the mind that's like I've become concerned with how I appear to other people, and it's kind of uncomfortable. I was just wanting to know whether you've been able to strike a balance with that.
Yeah, look, I think even acknowledging it is striking a balance. When you acknowledge that this is an issue, then it doesn't matter. Look, let's say you're going to a wedding or a party. You still have to look okay, isn't it, for that occasion? And for that purpose, if you are trying to shave yourself or you're having a black suit or whatever, that's perfectly fine, because you are still interacting with people and you have to do it. But within, when we overdo things, like I remember once I appreciated a photo on Facebook of a lady, and her husband said to me, don't appreciate. It took her 100 pictures she took, and then one picture she selected to put it. She wasted 3 or 4 hours to do that, Don't appreciate. So, you don't know what is going. You think someone has taken spontaneous and has put, and you appreciate. But people put so much of effort. That itself shows that how much you're conscious about how you look on Facebook or on other media, So there is a spontaneity in things, and you can look silly also. Like sometimes people put upside down. Once I saw on Facebook, someone put an upside down picture, and everyone is just liking it. Nobody's telling that this picture is upside down, please correct it. So there are all sorts of dramas. Actually, Facebook has revealed, or I don't know, I'm not moved more than that, and not even on Facebook for many years. But what I'm saying is that all this media and all this is actually does not really help. But if you understand what is going on, that in that sense it can help you to stay in your own original genuine presence, rather than just showing up your face or the best part of you or something,
Yeah. Okay.
So Facebook is actually a fake book in a way, so but if you understand, and you have rightly pointed out that you felt that why I am doing it again. And sometimes, my job in most of the parties I go is to click pictures, because I have the smartphone and I'm not interested in being in picture, but more to click, and everyone knows that. So this is my unknown, by default I'm taking pictures. And I have realized a beautiful thing, because I'm the one who is looking after seeing everyone what they're doing. And when I click, very less people stay natural. Most of the people, they will make a pose or they will do this and they will correct themselves, and they become so conscious as soon as the camera comes in front of them. They become so conscious. And still you can see some people, very rarely, who stay genuinely whatever they are. So this is the thing. So how do you behave in front of a camera or in front of people, or when you're alone? I saw one of these TikTok cartoons once, and this man showed that when he is with friends and family, how he's eating. So he's having eating one chip, and when nobody's there, he's just eating all the chips in the mouth. So it is funny, but it also shows that can we stay the same in front of people and not when people are not there? What is making us to behave in a different way when someone is watching us? And how do we stay when nobody is watching us? So who is this who tries to pretend, who tries to improve, who tries to look smarter or even better or even a good person? This we have to pay attention to it. And when you pay attention there, this thing dissolves. And what is left is what you are. Then it doesn't matter how you look or appear. Or so in your truest form, pure presence, you don't care about what people will think about you, what impression you are getting in others' mind, whether it's insulting, whether praise, whether you are going to get anything out of it, whether there's no intention left, sankalpa, no desire that this will lead to this and so I will do this. That is the job of mind, that I will try to please this person because he is in this position, and then once he get pleased, I'll ask him to do this work for me, so I'll take favor in this form and I'll let me do this favor right now. So all this planning and complexities of life and how to move, I don't know, people say upward, but I think it's downward movement. This is all play of ego only. No need to do. Life is very simple, very easy. We all have a job and we all have a shelter and food to eat. How beautiful it is, isn't it? And whatever time is there with us, we can just enjoy that bliss. It is so easy. Who is asking us to go out and to prove yourself? And what are you proving? You're proving that you are fool, that's all. Because you're already happy here. But when we go out to show something that I am also in this rat race, we are actually then rat. We are not human beings. Because it's only a rat race, And what Andy is saying perfectly right, because this is the way we all keep checking. There are as many ways to check as many human beings, Whatever actions that ego wants you to take over, you can come back and you can just relax. And you don't have to. Nobody's forcing you to do anything for any reason. So this thing, what we are living for the world, is only ego. When you start living for your own self in the most unselfish way, that is liberation. That is freedom. Actually, it is freedom because you are not there to show anything to anyone. You are just living. Life is going on and you are accepting and you are happy. How free you are, how liberated you are. Even if there is a job, any work, any family responsibilities, they don't bind you because you will do as it happens, not taking credit for it and no discredit for it. Whatever comes to mind, you don't just jump and you try to do that. That is bondage. As I said when we started, that covering around the white rice, that husk, that is mind only. The moment it goes, there's nothing to be done. Nobody does anything. There's no doership, no doer. It just things are unfolding, happening on their own. And there's a time for everything, for events, for situations, for objects, for beings. They come and go, come and go. But as pure presence, you stay the same. Though the gadgets you have been given, this mind, this body, they keep changing all the time. But it doesn't matter. And the best thing about staying in presence is you are in happiness all the time. And this happiness is not that you have to find at some other time by doing something. Like in our life, we have only learned, conditioned that if we do A, we will get a result B. We always know this arithmetic that we have to do something to get something. But what you are already that. Any amount of doing will not get you there. Because you're not becoming anything. You are already that. People talk about union. There is no union actually. If you see, there is what union? You are already that. And what we think union, that has to disappear. That wrong notion has to disappear. That's all. And whatever's left is you only. But you not as the body mind. You not as the one who is planning things. You not as the doer. That all goes away the moment you are paying attention to the awareness, that doership, that ego, that individuality, that person mode. That goes away. Or you can say, in that pure awareness, it all gets melted away. It just disappears. You can't find a trace of that. The one who was acting, who was doing all this drama. And then when you look back, you will be laughing on yourself. What idiosyncratic way you were living your life, always trying to show, prove, do. So a lot of things just dissolve, because then there's nothing else to be done. Who is doing? If things happens, you are okay. If things don't happen, you don't mind. You are more happy, I think, if nothing is happening. You are so much, you don't have to do anything. See, in Bhagavan's case also, he got it very quickly, so that's good. But let's say, if right now you agree that you are already free, then what needs to be done? Then only you are sorting out your mind, that's all. You think the husk is already around you, and you are trying to get rid of it because as a doubt. But doubt is only when there is a doubter. And the doubter is only the mind. But let's say the mind stays, but you don't pay any attention to the mind. You pay attention to the awareness. And you don't use mind. Don't give tasks to the mind. I'll tell you, anything you don't give a task, even if you don't get them out of the job, their job is gone. Their job is gone. You think that you have to actually say your mind get out, then only it will go away. If you don't give any task to the mind, it will go away. I'll tell you an example of a friend who was doing a surgical job, and he had some issues with the boss. The boss was rude or whatever the issue was. So the boss said that you are not allowed to come to the OT, and you have to stay, do some clerical work, and I don't want to see you. But his job was not taken away. He was still in job. He was being paid. I told him, you spend your time in library, you have more free time. And the contract was for a year. He quit that job in 3 months. He said, I can't live like this. So this is the thing. You don't have to say mind to get out. You just don't give any work to the mind. Mind will go away. And what work we give mind is all this work in this world to please our selfish ego, to get things done by people, to ask people to praise us. If someone insults, then we try to insult them in some way or the other. Lot of crap stuff which we give to the mind. Actually, mind is also not happy with us. That's why it gives suffering to us. Don't give anything to mind. Just accept what comes and just stay moment to moment. Live only moment in front of you. Don't give work to the mind. And you will realize that in no time the mind will disappear forever. It is there only to serve ego, doership, the one who is doer, who is taking help of the mind. It is very easy. If you understand, then work is done. Don't give any job to mind. Mind will ask you or advise you. That is actually your own desire, which it is popping out in form of a thought. And then you start acting on it. Let's say today you decided, I had enough of desires and likings and dislikings and planning and judgment. Whatever the mind says, I'm not getting into it now. But the mind will continue with the momentum of what you have feeded in the past. But if you're not giving more work, it will disappear. It's just a matter of time. So you just have to have patience and to bear with the mind which you have created. It is your own creation. We have created this monster, if it is a monster, and it will calm down and it will just go away. And what is left is only pure silence. There's nothing else you will discover. But that silence is so precious because we have lost it in all this noise of mind, in our desires. And we are seeking happiness in this world. This world has not given happiness to anyone without exception. Because there are endless desires. This world cannot fulfill these endless desires. But if you want to go back home, home is always there. It is our eternal home. It has never ever dissed anyone. Everyone has achieved. Everyone can reach back home. Because we are at home, but we think we are outside. So out of these two tasks, one, to be happy with all desires fulfilled, has never ever happened to anyone. Never ever, not even one single exception. The second thing which looks difficult to us, to stay and abide in pure awareness and get liberated from mind. It looks difficult, but it is achievable. And if you are serious, it will happen to you as it has happened to so many people. So this is doable, this is possible. But the other thing is not possible. So do something which is possible. Don't try to do which is impossible. Another advantage, if you look within and know yourself and stay there, then you are in eternal happiness, eternal. You are that unborn. But if you go with the body mind to pick up desires and do things, then you will disappear when the body disappears. Death will come to you. Then you are not unborn and eternal. Such a big difference. Then all the suffering of the mind body is your own suffering of mind, because you think you are mind body. See, if you are attached to someone, emotional attachment, you suffer when that person suffers, isn't it? Why something is happening in some other part of the world at someone's house, why does it affect? Because he's not my family member. But the moment it happens to your own family member, it affects. So if this body mind you think is your own body mind, then it will affect you. The body will die, you will die. But if you are pure awareness and you are detached from your body mind and you never think you are body mind, then nothing is going to happen to you when the body mind moves. It stays or not stay, doesn't matter. But to reach there, you have to abide in your own stillness and not just to keep going with things around you. First thing is this self-talk has to go, for which actually invites you into this trouble. And this self-talk will go when you don't give work to it. And when this will be silenced or less talkative, then there is not much for you to talk to people about things, because most of the talk is about the worldly things, to acquire, to gain, to like, to dislike. There will be not much for you to talk also. And that is beautiful actually. Again, the same thing what Andy started talking about was, we are not trying to please anyone for any reason. I'm not saying we are there to annoy anyone. But if someone gets annoyed by your silence, then bless that person. What can you do, But stay in your silence. Be true to at least yourself. Don't run for people and things and objects. If one longing is there to be attached to that awareness, to pay attention to that awareness, or you want to call it God or pure awareness, doesn't matter. But if you bring all your power towards that, then it will work. But our power, our energy is scattered in thousands of things around us, not in one person. Like we know that there are, historical Romeo Juliet or Heer Ranja, those types of couples and love for two people, between two people. But here our love is being divided in thousands of things and beings and people, and so much of attachment and things which we have not even acquired, we are after them. So all our love is gone into, dispersed into so many things. How we have to bring that energy back, to bring it here into this awareness. More you have invested in the word, more things on stake, more it will be difficult you to bring it back to that purity in you. But if there are less things, then it's much easier. And also, so the time it takes you to abide in pure awareness is how much time it will take you from going from many desires to no desire. In this desirelessness, what is left is only you. And I think to be in this desirelessness, the most important thing is your discrimination and your understanding. That will kill all desires. Otherwise, it's very hard to bring your mind from this thing and that thing, and then it's shooting up to the other thing. The moment you understand where the problem lies, then you don't move and you stay there. And if something makes you move, then you pray, please keep me here. I don't want to go. And if your prayer is humble, honest, full of love and respect, this Brahman, this God, this pure awareness will listen to it and will finish you here. So there is no coming and going from here. You are that only. But till you are not that, you can pray with your little self to be that bigger self. And that bigger self will devour this little self and finish it. Finish your story. And it will happen to everyone and anyone who understands and who does it with full intention and desire. Just this last desire, and then this desire will dissolve in that seeing, and then nothing is left. You don't have to run, you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to leave anything. Just leave attachment within your own mind. And the best is give away this ownership of mind and body. Whatever the noise mind is producing, don't worry about that. People who have auditory hallucinations or visual hallucinations, they can still live and they can function once they identify that not to identify with these things. Once they realize this, same thing you can do. You can just realize that all this noise in the head is not me, it's not for me. It's not me, it's not for me, and I have nothing to do with it. And bring all your attention to the stillness, to the silence within, which is never changing. And believe me, you can keep your attention here in your heart, and still things will keep unfolding, and if action has to happen, it will happen. Everything continues. Like who wants to dream at night? The dream comes and there is action happening. You're not planning anything, but when you are in dream, it looks like you are planning, isn't it? Exactly like this happens in this waking dream, this word which we think it's real. The ego comes and then it takes over the charge unnecessarily. There's no need for it. Things are just unfolding. There's no need for that ego. It's uninvited guest. It is only God's business. He is doing it and we should enjoy it. Who is this third middleman in between? No need for that. Wherever we are, whatever we are, abide in this pure nothingness without any ownership of the body. If you have no ownership of the body mind, how can you have ownership of anything else which is connected through it? Then what are you? You are that pure emptiness. Nothingness, nothing. And nothing is full of bliss. This is a paradox. When you are nothing, then you are everything. People who are hoarders, collecting things. They want to fill up from outside world. But when you are empty, then you are completely full. To fill up yourself with that divine bliss, first you have to be empty. Completely empty. When we are empty, then the bliss takes over. That power takes over. Because we have mixed it with so many things. And because of our own interest. Some people, they collect so many antiques, so many things. The house is full of stuff. And some people are so minimalist. You go to their home, there will be one table, one chair, one cup. If a guest comes, they will drink water, they will wash it and give it to you. You can drink, This is the life, minimalist. I have a room. In that room, I have Bhagavan's picture. I had a small table and I sit on the ground and there's a harmonium which I play. So that room actually makes a bit of echo because there's nothing much in room. So I thought I'll put some curtains or something to make it. And my younger son said that you are saying it's a temple, you're putting stuff in it. Why do you want to do that? Just it should be empty. I said, yeah, it should be empty. So this is the thing, just empty. When it is empty, then it is beautiful. Then that space will be taken by divine. Don't fill up with anything. Just stay empty. And wait for him to come. As your beloved is coming and you are paying respect and you are not in a rush. When a VIP comes, can you call them? Like, it's already late, where are you? Where are you stuck up in traffic? We are all waiting for you. Where are you? You can't be angry with the VIP. It is the most VIP. You have to be ready. Be ready because it can come anytime now when you are empty. So keep yourself empty. That's all. Create that space for that spaciousness, that divinity to dawn on you. It will not come from outside. It will come from within only. And when it comes, it will come without you knowing. And it will take over everything. It will come in that silent steps. And it will take over. Boom. Then you can't find where you are, what you were before. You will be lost in that. That is the power. That is Arunachala Shiva. Fire of knowledge. tiger's jaws. You are in those tiger's jaws. Once you have entered, you can't escape. No escape here. If you came just for sake of fun, that is wrong. You are gone on a wrong path. It's a one-way ticket. It will finish you. It is so powerful. Just one side, one thought, and you are gone. In Bhagavan's case, he only heard about Arunachala. He thought it's some divine place somewhere. He has no clue where it was. He was actually amazed to know there is a physical place by that name. And you can go there. And he went there when everything was gone. But he gave credit to just this thought that there is a place, Arunachala, which is divine. Only that thought. Even before going there, he was finished. And that is why I was thinking of David Godman to give a talk to explain that Bhagavan never did any tapas at Arunachala Hill or Tirunamalai. He was already in self-abidance. He was already liberated, moksha. Because so many people misinterpret about Bhagavan. So you can see so many videos and books, and they say this 16 years old boy left home to do such a tapas and sadhana and left his clothes and went and did sadhana. He said he never did any sadhana. Eyes were closed, that's all, but I was not doing any sadhana. I was in bliss, that's all. Then my eyes opened when I reached Mango Grove. And then after that, when all you people came, I started talking. But that bliss has never left since the day in Madurai when I was that death experience came to me. We never did any sadhana. But if you notice, Bhagavan said Arunachala name came to him somehow, and then someone said he has come from Arunachala. And then this all happened, and he gave all this credit to Arunachala and stayed there and lived in Arunachala. So this is the power. See, in Bhagavan's case, just his memory maybe from previous birth, just remembering, and it all did to him. How powerful it is. It is very powerful. And I am 100% sure because of that power, it will, if someone is coming here just to test the waters, he will be finished. The only thing left will be bliss, peace, happiness. No more drama of coming and going. This is not my promise, it is promise of Arunachala. That is being written. But your mind should be there. You should have respect and love for it. And it is none other than your own heart. So pay attention here and don't worry about what is going around. Everything is being planned by the divine for us. Why should we worry? Why should we carry luggage on our head? He's taking care of everything. Just when you have taken this path of self-inquiry, self-attention, Bhagavan's teachings, just focus on it. Don't try to do too many things, or again, your mind can say, I will also like to stand on one leg, that will also help. And then I'll do this and then I'll do that. Don't do too many things. Nothing. Just pay attention to pure awareness. Stay there only. And when you stay here, any reaction coming to the mind, just watch it. but don't go with it. Don't own any thought. In no time, the mind will completely settle. Because where you're paying your attention, this is fire of knowledge. It will finish your mind. And because mind is not in use, it will disappear in it. So two processes goes together. One is you're paying attention to awareness, and awareness blossoms in you, unfolds in you. And the second is you're not paying attention to the mind, so mind becomes a vestigial organ which is not in use, and it just melts away in this fire. And because you can understand it and you can do this, this is grace, which brings us all together into this satsang. Method is direct, simple, very easy, and anyone can do it. At least Bhagavan used to say even atheist can do it, because you don't have to believe in God, you have to believe in you, that you are aware, you are self, you are using this body mind. That is enough. Respect your own seeing, love your own seeing, unadulterated seeing, untainted seeing, seeing which is not doership, which is just watching, accepting whatever is happening, like an innocent child. Be inquisitive to your own unfoldment and stay there. And this is happening every second. Even in your sleep, this unfoldment is happening. Because of grace, because of your own interest, because that's what you want. You think that Absolute doesn't know what you want? Actually, he knows more than you. And he knows when you will get it and how much you should get it. He also doesn't want you to lose your sanity, and unfoldment, slow unfoldment is good for most of us. Let's sit in our pure silence all together, with folded hands and respect and love. Let's pray to that pure awareness in all of us. To show us in its full glory and take away our ego, melt away our mind, and keep all of us in eternal bliss. And unconditional love for all the beings. As pure awareness. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.